This isn't really a video about muscles. I know how that sounds, coming from a guy who's going to tell you a story about getting jacked. But stay with me because by the end, I don't think you're going to be thinking about the gym at all. Growing up, I was a pretty easy target. Middle school me was chubby, didn't play a single sport, and was a huge nerd. And I mean that literally. My bedroom was decorated wall to wall in Minecraft. We had an entire separate room in my house just for Legos. The extent of my physical activity was a few rounds of Foursquare before class started. Now, I wasn't obese, and I wasn't getting shoved into lockers. I actually had a lot of friends. But it was pretty obvious at the rate I was going, I was heading toward becoming a very different version of me than the one sitting here now. Around that time, my family moved, and I changed schools, something that happened to me more than a dozen times growing up. Same nerdy kid, except now I'd also lost the only friends I had, except for the occasional Skype call. That's when I started suppressing who I actually was. I talked differently. I adopted opinions and a vocabulary that didn't fit me at all, purely so I'd fit in somewhere. And it worked, shockingly well. I became friends with basically everyone: the popular kids, the unpopular ones, the class clowns, the teacher's pets. I sat at a different lunch table almost every day. I just tried to blend into wherever I landed and avoid causing any trouble. Then we moved again. Same pattern, different school. And around this time, puberty hit and flipped my whole body. I went from chubby to genuinely underweight, not unhealthy, just skin and bones by comparison. New school, and it was smaller this time, and I became one of the more popular kids almost immediately. But I was still performing the version of me I knew would fit in, not who I actually was, and that gap caused me real pain every single day, even when things looked fine from the outside. I missed the entire 2016 fitness influencer era, the David Lay highlight reels, Jeff Sides' golden run, all of it. I didn't even start looking into the gym seriously until senior year of high school. Through 8th grade and most of high school, I played basketball, and weightlifting was part of the training. But at the time, it just felt like boring free weight exercises. Keep in mind, I'm 14 years old doing power cleans at 8 in the morning. Real riveting stuff. It wasn't until sports ended completely that I had this huge stretch of free time after school and had no idea what to do with it. By then, I wasn't exactly suppressing the nerd anymore, but I still knew exactly how to fit in when I needed to. I wasn't an easy target, mostly because years of practice had taught me how to avoid confrontation before it ever started. And then I asked myself a genuinely simple question: wouldn't it be cool if I got jacked? Sure, I was a teenage guy, and some part of me absolutely thought muscles got girls, but underneath all that, I think I just wanted something that felt cool the same way Minecraft or Legos used to feel cool. What I didn't expect was how much it would teach me about everything else. It taught me that anything worth doing is difficult, and that's exactly what makes it worthwhile. It taught me that progress happens on the days you don't feel like showing up, that actually achieving something takes sustained effort with almost no feedback along the way. It was 3 months before I saw any real change, 6 months before anyone else even mentioned it. By the 1 year mark, I'd convinced myself I looked incredible. I look back now and laugh at that photo. Years later, after all the bad lifts, the plateaus, the stretches where nothing seemed to be working, I can say it plainly: I'm jacked. I took a long break during my last semester of college, but I'm basically back to peak strength, and I'm really close to my peak physique if I stay consistent with my diet. But here's the part that actually matters. Being jacked didn't change my life because I got muscles. I changed my life because I got jacked. I stopped suppressing myself, all the nerdiness, all of it, because I wasn't afraid of confrontation anymore. I stopped caring about fitting in or meeting anyone else's expectations because at some point I'd become the expectation. I learned exactly how powerful consistency and applied action actually are, that failure is just the mechanism growth runs on, that managing fatigue matters as much as pushing through it, that comparing yourself to other people is pointless. It was always just you versus you, in the lifts, in the mirror, in life itself. Getting jacked didn't magically change anything because people stopped messing with the kid who liked Minecraft since he looked like he could suplex them now. It changed things because of everything the process taught me along the way, and honestly, still teaches me. It gave the chubby, quiet version of me inside a chance to finally stop caring what anyone else thought, and it gave the version of me now something like inner peace. Because for the first time, the person I was and the person I am are actually in harmony. Some people will hear all this and just say, yeah, pump and iron, rock on. The gym's just a place you go after work. And honestly, I get that. Pushing heavy weight does feel pretty badass on its own. But the metaphor it's been for me and everything it's shown me along the way outweighs anything I get from a mirror or a stranger's glance. That's what actually changed everything for me, and there's nothing physical about it. I always thought I was working so hard to build muscle. Looking back, I think I was just building myself. See you in the next one.